Check these comments. I don't think anybody really in here. All right. I'm not sure if you can hear me, but if you can go on, just see how we are. All right. All right. This is the Israelite School, Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana, and we have been called to teach the so-called Black, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native American people that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And every single week, we try to tell people the same thing. Every single day, we try to tell people, the same exact thing, whether it's our family members, whether it's strangers, whether it's people that are, at our jobs. And for some reason, it is in vain, even with all the stuff that we can see on the news. We've been trying the same things over and over. And if I could, can I get 2 Corinthians 11 and 14? Martin Luther King's birthday just passed. So we're in a situation now to where ICE agents are literally coming to Black neighborhoods and putting Black people in U-Hauls, taking whole neighborhoods, making them come downstairs in the dark and putting them in U-Hauls. We're in situations where Hispanic brothers and sisters, whether they are a U.S. citizen or not, and in a lot of cases, they've been U.S. citizens, they're being stopped based off of how they looked. But when we were saying that America was a racist place, when we were saying that this is race, and I know brothers in here, they'll say the biggest card is the race card, because that's how the oppressor is able to differentiate between you and them. That's how they know who to oppress, based off of what you look like. But we were told that we were racist. We were told that we were the fools. We were laughed and mocked, and on the streets there was milk and cheese and all types of stuff that was thrown at us, like Cap said yesterday. All the while, the devil is confusing you and making you think he's really not the devil. And right now, the devil is running around with ice on his chest and a mask on. If I could get that verse. And what's it sound like? We good as far as the all right, the water. All right, yeah. Azal Ross says sound is good. Most High in Christ. Shalom, sis. That's my rib right there. Checking in from the house of Quahal. Most High in Christ. All right.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Right now, there are minions of Satan running around right now. They are the devil. And like I said, they wear masks. They wear badges. They sit in the courtroom with shirts and ties. They are your prosecutors. They are the judge who, if the devil that's literally got the gavel, if he gets too hungry, you getting 30 years in prison if you go before him. That's what's going to happen, because he's a devil, and they don't know how to govern. They don't know how to, truly govern themselves. And what they've done is they've taken their misunderstanding of the Bible and turned it into a religion. But before that, they've made their rules of law from the actual scriptures and from the actual laws of the Bible, but they don't know how to actually follow those laws, because in all honesty, this devil is soft on crime, because they are a natural born criminal. They live in a country to where they oppress the people that they stole the land from. They oppress the people that they kidnapped from a different continent, and then have the nerve to do it until this day. Like that's a real sore winner right there. You won. You put people in captivity. You took their language. You changed their last name. Like the people that they're hunting have the last name of conquistadors. And then you have our people who want to sit and say that ICE needs to be rounding up these people, when really the criminal is the people that's rounding them up. It is not violating somebody's civil rights a crime. Am I wrong in thinking that? The violation of somebody's civil rights is a crime. The president of the United States is a criminal with 30-something counts of felonies. America's soft on crime, no matter what they tell you, Republican or Democrat. If they say the Democrats are soft on crime, how did a felon end up in a White House as a Republican? How can the Republicans say Democrats are soft on crime? There's an actual felon in the White House. Let me get that verse from the top one more time.
That's the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
You have people that are literally following behind ICE's actions in saying that ICE is justified in what they're doing. Even unaliving that lady in the car that had her wheels turned this way and is trying to leave. You have people saying support ICE. I don't know if y'all remember, but there was this I believe she's a sister. She's I don't know if she's Hispanic, or maybe she got a black parent and a white parent, but she is literally the one that got punched in the face on the street. I don't know if y'all remember, she was talking to the girl and she got punched in her face on the street. It was some big debacle where she got her head tapped, and she's literally running around with boards that say support ICE. ICE is out here harassing and hurting U.S. citizens, dragging them out their jobs. Like the title says, the devil wears a mask. The devil wears a mask and roams around the cities. Let's get that from the top one more time, and I'm going to just go through it.
Khan. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
An angel of light. That means that Satan or his minions are evil, but really they're making you think that they are the angels.
Right.
They're making you think that they're doing the work of the Lord, because for some reason this country believes that the American flag is synonymous with Jesus in the Bible. They say in God we trust, and really believe that America is with God, when America has rules and laws and has a behavior that is contrary to God, that is actually the Antichrist. But in your mind, you see that, and without even realizing, you have the mark of the beast, and you think that the satanic people, the Antichrist that are running around right now, are really the angels, and you're confused. Continue.
Khan. Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness.
Isn't that what I'm saying?
Right.
Isn't Donald Trump one of Satan's ministers?
Right.
Isn't Joe Biden one of Satan's ministers? Isn't Barack Obama one of Satan's ministers? If you guys remember, this is a country that when you become a president, you take an oath. And I believe, do you swear on the Bible? If you could look that up, when you become president, do you swear on a Bible? Because if you swear on a Bible as a president and you're Barack Obama, what business do you have telling young black men that they need a gay grown man in their life? What business do you have doing that? That is a worker of Satan. That is something that you've been tricked into thinking. You think Kamala Harris is really going to be there for you if she got elected. Where is she now? Has anybody seen any news clips or any social media ads or anything with Kamala Harris since she lost?
And being
what do you mean?
it says when you become president, you do not have to swear on a Bible.
Right.
The U.S. Constitution requires the president oath of office, which can be taken either by swearing or affirming.
Now, when you swear, most of them swear, don't they swear before God?
Khan, sir, it says while many presidents traditionally use a Bible during their inauguration.
Okay, so these people are swearing on the Bible, but they keep none of what's in the Bible. Let's continue to read that verse.
Khan. Verse 15. Whose end shall be according to their works.
Whose end shall be according to their works. At the end of the day, we have to start realizing that even though the punishments haven't come out from the Lord yet about all of the actions that these people have taken against the Shalom, sis, there is going to be a day of reckoning. There's going to be a day of reckoning that this oppressor is not going to even understand. It's going to be the most terrible thing in the world when the Lord finally decides to show this oppressor. And let me see if I can get this on screen. Let me see. Social Media Monday. Let me see. I don't want to play the whole thing. Influencer gets punched in the face. Let me see if I can get more specific, because I have a clip, but I want to get the right one, because one of them is 8 minutes. Female influencer. Let me see something. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Okay, yeah. Slovakia. Let me go ahead and share this with y'all real quick so y'all can see what I'm talking about. All right, let me get this on the screen for y'all.
The suspect set up a GoFundMe, which has already raised more than $8,000 towards her.
Have been abused. That's not the point. What I'm saying, really.
I don't even know if there's, but they showing the sister that bopped her, but they're not showing the sister that got bopped. Okay, they did show her. They did show her. I kind of cut it off too early. It might show it a little bit at the end, but no sweat. But this same person that got bopped upside the head is going around and saying support ICE. This same person that is confused about social, like what they should really be doing with their voice on social media, is supporting the devil. The devil runs around in a mask. What? Okay, what on earth would you need to have a mask for during the course of your activity? These aren't just like SWAT raids. These aren't hit squads that are going out into Afghanistan and these different countries. These are people on American soil with masks, and they're actually harassing U.S. citizens. I'm gonna show one more video, and then we're gonna keep it moving. Let me get one more video up for y'all, because ICE they do discriminate, but in this fact they didn't. They tore off him and whooped some elderly ladies behind because she was recording them. So she's just simply recording. He snatches her phone.
That's illegal, sir. That's killing.
And he drags her across the. That's how. When I see females get into fights, and sisters be getting mad sometimes nowadays when you call them females. When I see women, when I see sisters, right? And that's how a woman would fight. They would grab you by the hair and snatch you around. You want to see it again? I'm gonna play it again for Captain Zion Wine. Look, he snatches her phone out. She's like, "Give me my phone back."
That's illegal, sir. That's
and when she reaches for her phone, because she thinks this look how he dragged her. This and Captain Zion Wine is right. He's like, why is she all in his face? Because that oppressor thought that she had some privilege. That privilege wasn't extended that day because he has a mask on, and let me see. He threw her around, and psychologically, when you have a mask on, you get this kind of almost like invincible, like you want to do other things associated with crime. What you laughing at?
How's it going?
This is why, I'm just saying, I know this is a heathen or whatever, but
right.
This is why, we don't take women out. You don't take women out the war.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that type of thing can happen. You know what I'm saying? She should be in the house then where they're letting, the men handle that. You know what I'm saying? But most likely, she's probably like a liberal white woman who's out there, because of her, her far left views or whatever, when she's out there on the street when, it's not a game, but I guarantee when he grabbed her, she saw it wasn't a game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And this is why, even for us, women don't go out to war. The men go to war.
No, you're absolutely right, because what sense would it make to have a woman on the front lines? If you bring a woman on the front lines, you might be more concerned with protecting her than actually fighting the battle the correct way.
Right.
Women shouldn't have to be put on the front lines. I would never put, the women in my life that I love, my mother, my rib, my cousins and my sisters on the front line. No sweat, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, if I could, because what you bring out is heavy. It's like feminism too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's that feminism crap where people think that, where these women are emboldened to go out there. That's a full-grown man.
Right.
That's a full-grown man, and he would, ragdoll you in a second. You know what I'm saying? So, it's best for you to stay at home, make them biscuits, you know what I'm saying? Make that with the lasagna with 6 different cheeses, you know what I'm saying? Get it on, you know what I mean? That chicken, that's definitely that chicken parmesan.
Absolutely.
And get it on. You know, you don't got to be out there trying to impede, you know, federal agents. You know what I'm saying? That's not what you should be doing. Now, if there's white men out there doing it, then let them do it. Because you saw what happened, the last 2 women that white women, what happened. This right here, and the other one got shot and killed.
Right.
You know?
And I'm seeing, I don't know what this short is. I wanted to click on it earlier. I just didn't have time. Let me go ahead and see what she's saying. Okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and play this, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on. Because there's some verses I want to read, because this is the law class. And you know, ICE is saying if you're if you're a U.S. citizen, you have nothing to worry about. The people that support ICE are saying that, but U.S. citizens are being detained for upwards of 5 days. They're violating rights. Like I said, America is soft on crime. You just have to be the right kind of criminal. You have to be, in most cases, an oppressor, or you have to be in support of the powers that be. Because Donald Trump is in power, and whoever supports Donald Trump, they're getting pardoned. They're getting $50,000 signing bonuses, and they're criminals. Donald Trump is surrounded by criminals, as are other presidents like Joe Biden. But Donald Trump is the most current president right now. His spiritual advisor is a convicted pedophile, and had to step down as his spiritual advisor because, like, what is going on with all these people in power that want to inappropriately touch children? And why isn't there some type of organization or some type of government agency that can do something about it?
Right.
Why? Because the people that are in power are the people that are committing the crimes, and they're soft on crimes. And the devil wears a mask. All right. So let me go ahead and play this video for y'all. Give me 1 second. Salaki, y'all gonna have to bear with me. All right, let me go ahead and play that for y'all. Go ahead and rewind it.
Never forget, like, the fear that we both felt in our hearts that day. They were following these 2 men, and I was waiting for.
Yeah, you can go ahead and
hold the door for me. Hey, can you hold the door for me? And I walked right in the middle. And when I was in the middle, ICE came. They came out of their cars. They asked me to see my ID, and while they were asking me to see the ID, they just decided it was nice to be racist and say really nasty things to me. And that man, he called me the N-word, and he called me that, and then he arrested me. They arrested me. It was multiple people. They used a lot of force to arrest me. I actually got a scab that was healing while I was in jail. But they pushed me hard. They used a lot of violence. My body still hurts. I got a concussion. It's really hard for me to speak because of that concussion. They were just using a lot of force to arrest me, and I was screaming. I was crying. I was so scared. I've never been arrested in my life. I don't have like a criminal record. I have a clean record. It was just, and then that detainment, I was just.
Let me see. All right, I'm gonna play one more video. There was so many videos I wanted to play. I know we're not gonna be out here long, but let me go ahead and get this video, because there was a lot of brothers that said we don't need to have this as a concern because ICE ain't got nothing to do with that. They're messing with the Hispanics, but those are our brothers and sisters. And if they'll take advantage of one group that they stole land from, they're definitely going to take advantage of the other oppressed group. It's just a matter of time before they do it more and more and more. And because, like I said, because they wear masks, they feel emboldened, and they feel like they're not going to be prosecuted, and they have the full weight of the new government of Donald Trump behind them. All right, so let me go ahead and play this for y'all. For those of y'all,
she lives in this building, and she says she was detained by ICE agents overnight, and she says they took everyone and then asked questions later.
They just treated us like we were nothing.
Patricia Fisher says she came out to the hallway of her apartment complex on the corner of 75th and South Shore Drive
I'm gonna go ahead and say something. Let me just get this out real quick. This is about ICE right now because, you know, the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right? This says ICE is violating civil rights based on numerous reports, lawsuits, and testimonies from civil rights organizations like the ACLU. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents have been frequently accused of violating the civil rights of both documented immigrants and U.S. citizens. How do you allow this to happen as a leader? How do you allow this to happen as a country of people who say you're God-fearing? Because you really don't fear God. You don't actually believe in God if you don't speak up against things like this. You don't believe in the type of things that the Most High had Christ speaking about, because you are a different type of animal. You're the devil that the Bible speaks of. And if you support ICE agents, you are of your father, the devil. This says that ICE has been violating U.S. citizens. Where is the uproar? Where is the accountability? You know why there is none? Because Donald Trump is the devil and his minions wear masks. Let me get Deuteronomy 27:1. And you can put me on mute. I'm going to play the rest of this video.
In her nightgown around 10 Monday night, only to find ICE agents yelling police.
It was scary because I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me, did I have any warrants? And I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m. Fisher says she was told if anyone had any kind of warrant out for them, even if it was unrelated to immigration, they would not be released.
Is this happening at the trailer parks that are infested with meth? No, this is not. That's not where this is happening. Is this happening where in the hills where there's tons of nose candy being snorted by, skinny, so-called white models? They're not swarming these type of neighborhoods where there are oppressors abound. That's not what's happening.
That's right.
Damn right. ICE is legally allowed to stop you based on your color. They are legally allowed. And let me look it up because there was a law that I looked up. I wanted to include it, but I thought I would just move on. But hold on, let me see. Can ICE stop you based on your color? Okay. They said we were racist. They like I said earlier, they said we were racist. They said we were a hate group. Isn't the United States government in fact a hate group? If you can stop somebody based off the way that they look, like if you put me in power and I stop all so-called white men because the numbers say that they are more than 75% of sexual offenders, wouldn't they say I was racist just off of stopping them because they make up a certain number? Don't they say we're the 13%? The AI overview says yes, as far as my answer is concerned. Can ICE stop you based on your color? Yes, recent U.S. Supreme Court rulings have allowed immigration and customs enforcement agents to stop and question individuals based on factors like perceived race, ethnicity, accent, location, and job type, especially giving them legal grounds to target people who look like immigrants. Yo, where are why is Chinatown not being turned upside down so the dogs and the cats can be saved?
Right.
Why is that not happening? Why is there not a raid in Indiatown so they can stop cutting up meat with their toenails? Is there something that we're missing here that Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans need to be told by us? Because Captain Zion, haven't we been telling people this for so long now? Right. That the country is racist. They are attacking you because of your race, your so-called race, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we were the fools. We were told that the Bible is archaic. We were told that our ways are old and they don't need to be used. We were told that there's no such thing as race. But here it's saying that the Supreme Court has ruled that the ICE agents are allowed to be racist. That's what it's saying. That's what it's saying. Let me get the definition of prejudice. Let me get that for y'all. Prejudice definition. The definition of prejudice says opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So they don't have an experience with the person that they're stopping. They just perceive them to be an immigrant based on their color. We got any comments in here? I had to make sure. This ain't the topic you want to mess with me on right now. Because these ICE agents have gone completely overboard with how they've been treating our brothers and sisters. There's a story that's out there where the ICE agents abducted a brother who's a U.S. citizen based on his race. They said he looks like a Mexican. They snatched him up. They beat the brakes off of him. They took his phone and put it in one of those kiosks where you can trade it in. So they stole his phone. So not only have they violated his civil rights as a United States citizen, that's a crime. They stole his phone and then they placed it in a kiosk for you to sell phones. And then he spent time in a detention center. Why do they think Christ isn't going to come back and heads are going to roll? I don't understand why they think that salvation is for everybody.
Right.
When the salvation of the Bible says that it's going to be given to those who are descendants of the Israelites, and we're going to be delivered from the hand of those who hate us. The ICE agents are able to do what they want. They have power. They have power. And that's another thing, real quick, I want to get to. There's a difference between the power that the drug dealers on the streets have and what Donald Trump and the U.S. government has. The drug dealers on the street will mess around and tell you that you need to check in when you come to their neighborhood. If you're a rapper, they'll tell you you need to check in when you go to their cities. But Donald Trump just signed something in the law, and if you look like you're a little too Hispanic, you're getting beat up by government officials and your phone is getting stolen. That's power.
Right.
That is power. There is nothing I can do right now as far as writing something down and all of a sudden blonde-haired, blue-eyed people are getting the brakes beat off of them and thrown in the back of U-Hauls. I can't do that. But yet and still, our people are confused and want to believe that we should be on the streets selling drugs. We should be on the streets, discriminating against each other based on gangs. Do y'all see what's actually happening? The biggest, strongest gang in the world is allowed to look at you and say, hey, where you from? Don't the red and the blue do that. Don't Crips and Blood say, hey, where you from?
Sir.
They do exactly that. Salakia. We're going to go into the law. We're going to get back to these disgusting ICE agents. But let me go ahead and let's get to Deuteronomy 28. And let me see. Let's start with, Salakia. Deuteronomy 27 and verse 1.
Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day.
All right, read that one more time. And you know what? I'm going to start getting it on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and let me go ahead and remove this. Let me go ahead and let's get that Bible app up real quick. Let me see. Get that Bible app up real quick and we can read that from the top. I just want y'all to be able to have the words on the screen. Let me see. Search. All right. And where we at? Deuteronomy 27 and 1. Because right now what we explain is the reason why we're going through what we're going through. We're going through this because we right now don't completely have the Lord on our side. Unfortunately, Mexican brothers and sisters, they are serving a different God. They pray to a cross. If I'm not mistaken, there was a new pair of LeBrons that came out, right? And the color, this is what's being said on social media. Matter of fact, let me fact check that real quick. The new Martin Luther King LeBrons, MLK LeBrons. LeBron. All right. Now, let me see. LeBron James, Nike MLK draws criticism. Let me just read this for y'all, because I want y'all to understand how stupid this is. You know, and I got a lot of friends in the world that are like Martin Luther King. You know, they like Martin Luther King, not the homosexual stuff that they accuse Martin Luther King of, because I don't really have friends like that, but of the being driven by your desires, willing to risk life and limb for a little trim. Martin Luther King did that. There was a famous boxer who did that, and I'm gonna teach a class on him later. And I believe his words were I risked everything for my pleasure, or something like that. It was a famous boxer from back in the day. All right. I'm gonna just read a little bit of this article from USA Today, and I'm gonna make the equivalent in the analogy, because this is how you know that you shouldn't be doing what you're doing. All right. It says Nike and LeBron James have found themselves at the center of controversy over an unusual and what many on social media have called tone deaf tribute attempt. So pretty much, I don't want to have to read too much through it, but pretty much what happened is they took the color of the shoe and they made the color of the shoe seemingly look like the color of the sign at the motel where Martin Luther King was assassinated. And they're like, why would you take something to commemorate his death where he died at and make it the same color? Okay. Why would you commemorate Christ with a cross that he died on? Why would you do that? Jesus didn't ask you to take a cross and wear it around your neck and remember him that way.
Right.
Where's the Bible verse that said when it says, do this in remembrance of me? Let's get that real quick. Do this in remembrance of me. All right. That is, if you could go to there's more than one. I don't know if I want to go to 1 Corinthians. Let's go to Luke 22 and 19. We'll go there first, and I'll get that on the screen for y'all. Bear with me 1 second. Luke 22 and 19. Baba Kasha. All right. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and read it. Matter of fact, give me 1 second so I can get it on the screen for the people. All right, you good to go.
Khan.
Let me just switch this. I did the wrong thing. Go ahead. Good night.
I got it up on my screen if you want me to add it.
The
Bible.
Yeah, if you could. That way I could just pull up the tab and you could do that. The rest of the
You said 22.
It'll be Luke 22 and verse 19.
Khan. This is the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 19.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
You just want to.
Okay, no sweat. All right.
And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me.
So what is happening here? This is happening at the Passover, right? Because if we go just a few verses up, you'll know that this was at the Passover.
Right.
This is where Christ was eating. So these weren't wafers like me and Azawar had brought out during Sabbath service. This wasn't Welch's grape juice. This was wine. This was lamb. This was bread, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which is also called the Passover. Christ said, do this. We shouldn't have a cross around our neck. We shouldn't pray to the Virgin Mary. And right now, our people are in a bind the way they are because that's what we do. We take unks. Black people think we're Africans, so we take unks. What tribe are we from? What country in Africa are we from? Where in the world would you get that notion just because you have black skin that you're an African? Our
Right.
oppressor gave that to us. Right now, what we need to do is we need to look in these scriptures and find out what's going on. Let's get Deuteronomy 27 and verse 1. We'll start there again.
Khan, it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 27, verse 1. And Moses, with the elders of Israel, commanded the people, saying, keep all the commandments which I command you this day. And this shall be, read on.
Yeah.
And this shall be on the day when ye shall pass over Jordan unto the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, that thou shalt set thee up great stones.
So I just want to stop right there. So he's talking to the Israelites. I'm just going to take us through, because these commandments are the laws that we're supposed to be following. Let's skip down to verse 26, as a matter of fact.
Khan. You said 26?
Yeah, same chapter, verse 26.
Khan, verse 26. Cursed be he that confirmeth not all the words of this law to do them, and all the people shall say, Amen.
Aren't we cursed right now? Can't people that are wicked just run through our neighborhoods and lock us up and ask questions later?
Right.
Can't they just see the way you look and decide, man, he looks like an immigrant? I am a so-called white person. I'm going to put on a mask. I'm going to see you with brown skin and black hair, and you're going in this truck, and we're going to figure it out later. And I'm going to beat the brakes off you, and your property is now mine. That I'm going to, not only did they steal his phone, they cashed it in for money. We watched how the elderly white woman, her phone was taken, and then she was dragged by her hair like a rag doll. But Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we feel the brunt of everything that's wrong with the world. Flint, Michigan, the water is bad. We're going to get lead poisoning. Ferguson, the town of Ferguson was so racist that they had to try to rewrite the whole police department's protocols. Like we deal with this stuff day in and day out, and then we look up to the sky and we ask God why. This is why. This is the Wednesday night law class. You know, and for the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that, you know, get a little bent out of shape when we bring them the scriptures and say, well, what do you know? You think you know everything. We're not saying that we know everything, but we know the Bible. And we know the reason why the world it is. Salakia, the reason why the world is the way it is today. Don't the scriptures say the world is given into the hand of the wicked?
Khan.
Don't you have to have power and be the person that the world is given to? If you look at right now, can't you identify who is who based off of what the scriptures are saying? That's what you should be able to do. Let's go down to let's go to 28 and 15 in Deuteronomy, if we could, Baba Kasha.
Khan. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If we don't listen to the voice of the Lord, we're going to keep getting harassed for 1,000 years. Like, aren't you ready tomorrow for this to stop?
Right.
Don't you feel weird whenever you're driving as a Black or Hispanic and the cops get behind you? You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing nothing wrong. You probably listening to Black Watch. If you one of us, you probably listen to Cross the Line Radio with Captain Tazariak and Captain Katazai. And then we still feel like, oh, we got to be careful because the cops is going to see us and treat us differently. Just because it's on paper now doesn't mean that it wasn't always happening. Right. As far as being discriminated versus color. And they said that's not what's happening. You guys are just committing the crimes. No, you finally just went ahead and put it on paper again. This is what the slave master did to us back in the day what they're doing to the Mexicans. We had to share slavery with the Mexicans. If y'all didn't know, there were Mayan slave ships. Go ahead and look it up. There were Native American slave ships. Go ahead and look it up. We already know about the transatlantic slave trade. Not only did our brothers and sisters lose their land, but they also had to go to Great Britain on slave ships. They had to go to Great Britain on slave ships. And then here you have FBAs, Foundational Black Americans, so-called, that want to say that the Hispanics, the Native Americans, and who else? Our East Indian brothers and sisters, our Salakia, East Indian, West Indian brothers and sisters, they try to say they have nothing to do with us. We share a common oppressor. We share a common past, and we share a common ancestor. We are brothers and sisters, and we're going to have to unite under one banner, and that banner is under Christ, our King. That banner is being an Israelite.
That's right.
Because we're not being successful as Mexicans. We're not being successful as Native Americans, African Americans. We are unsuccessful with those titles and those bywords over our name. We should come back to the Lord and see. We haven't tried that yet, have we? Am I ignorant in thinking everybody that's a Black, Hispanic, and Native American started following the law and that still didn't work? Am I ignorant in thinking that? Or have we served other gods? Have we celebrated Christmas, which is, I don't even know how many other gods that is, because every god under the sun is, including the sun that was born on December 25th. Is there something that I'm missing here? Maybe we should try what God told us to do in the first place. All right. Let me get Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68, because I just want to go through the basics with us real quick, because if we keep messing up, like if you're a coach, right, and your basketball team is continuing to mess up, the fundamentals need to be worked on. The basics need to be worked on so you can build yourself up. Because I guess the difficult things like racism still exists just isn't clicking. That's not clicking for everybody. Even though the Supreme Court says it's okay to be racist and prejudiced and hunt down our Mexican brothers and sisters.
Khan, that's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So this is the Israelites, right? This is the Israelites were brought into Egypt with ships. Okay. Let's go through the basics again. What people were taking into captivity on ships? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hell, Pocahontas went on a slave ship. The actual Pocahontas. Do we need to look it up? Do you heard that too? Most High in Christ. She's a Native American. She was put on a slave ship. They made her and her family be in a circus. She went into a slave ship. Ain't that what Deuteronomy 28 and 68 is talking about? Didn't black people, another famous person, I literally hate forgetting this brother's name, Nat Turner. Nat Turner, his family came off a slave ship. And then you have the Mexican brothers and sisters. If you look it up, they were Mayan slave ships. They were conquered and then they were put on slave ships. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 48. All right. Because if we can just serve our Lord, we'll be Tawab, which means good in the Hebrew. We'll be good. If Christ comes back, I'm not going to have to worry about a cop following me on a dark road for no reason.
Right.
When Christ comes back, Mexican brothers and sisters aren't going to have to sell oranges and flowers on the side of the road and worry about masked men jumping out of conversion vans and U-Hauls.
Right.
Native Americans aren't going to have to worry about being put on reservations where they can't even grow crops. That's not going to happen no more. But until we decide that we're going to be the children of the Lord and not follow the children of Satan and the devil, we're going to be in the same predicament. And it's a sad sight to continue to see your people in the condition that they're in and knowing what the solution is, but they just won't listen. They got ears, but they just don't hear. That is a wonderfully terrible thing to realize, that all they have to do is turn away from their sins, because sin is the transgression of the law. Turning away from it is repenting. That's what Christ died for. He requires it of you. We worried about Martin Luther King Jr. LeBrons,
Right.
the MLK LeBrons. That's what we worried about. We worried about beef on everybody's podcasts. We would rather be distracted. The news is going to keep putting stories out about the various things that are going on that don't matter. A recent story just popped up on YouTube, the YouTube feed from some news station, about a love story and how they've loved football together for 30, 40 years. Who gives a damn? There are people that are being bludgeoned by federal agents in masks, and you want to tell us about football? FOH. Let's get that verse.
Khan, it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
So Salakia, don't we need to go to our oppressor for every single thing?
Khan.
There is not one thing that I can think of now that I don't have to go to my oppressor for. If I want to listen to a brother's music, I have to go to the platform that the oppressor allowed him to be on. Even something as small as that. Even the little things we have to worry about. Remember when water was clean enough to come out the faucet? Not now, Deer Park. You got to go to your oppressor and thirst. You're not even allowed to collect rainwater, food. Bill Gates, I think it's Bill Gates, wants to corrupt all the crops. He wants to make sure that you, like, now some of it is rumors, some of it is not, but there's rumors out there that he's messing with mosquitoes that can bite you. Now, this could just be rumor, that make you have an allergic reaction to meat or ticks or something like that. Go ahead.
Salaki, I did see last 2 summers ago, he brought like thousands of mosquitoes.
What is a person that started off in computers doing messing with mosquitoes?
Right.
That my friends, is somebody who has power, and they are willing to go the extra mile to be greedy and oppressed. Not only does he want to have half of the money in the world, but he also wants to oppress us so that we have to go to him for everything. So that we have to go to him for every single thing under the sun, not just him, every oppressor. Continue to read.
Khan. And in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have
destroyed.
Until he have destroyed thee.
So the yoke of iron was around our necks. The yoke of iron was around Mexicans and Native Americans' necks.
Right.
And in order to get that yoke of iron off your neck, figuratively now, you're going to have to serve the Lord like you never did in your whole life. You're going to have to stop worrying about stupid stuff that's on the internet and making that the most important thing in your life. Because you could be in your living room watching TV in your apartment building. And then out of nowhere, masked men are going to take over your apartment complex, put bags over your head, and put zip ties around your arms. And they're not going to ask you questions for hours. They just going to go down the line and say, who has warrants? Because making a quota and getting money is all these people care about. All this is about is money and power. Putting the Mexicans in cages, trying to take over. What's he trying to take over? Greenland? Isn't Trump are we really that blind to where we can't see that the devil is on earth and he's just running around amok? You look like you was about to say something, Cap.
I was gonna say, yeah, we are that.
No sweat. But what we need to realize is that Israel eventually will have some redemption.
Right.
If you could, let's look up Isaiah 45 and 17, and we getting ready to get up on out of here. It's cold outside right now. It is very cold. And the devil is still outside running around with no jacket. I don't see too many ICE agents with jackets, except for the one that had the he looked like a Führer from the German army. The one that's the only jacket I really seen on these oppressors. They outside in the cold with their sleeves rolled up, full of cocaine and hatred.
Yeah, because they hop out of one car. Hop out.
Right. Cap said because they hopped out the warm car. I just think the devil was real good in the cold. That's what I think. Yeah. But Cap might be right.
Yeah.
But go ahead and read it.
Khan. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 17. But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation.
So Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. So after all I just read, I told you about the curses, the yokes of iron. I told you about all these terrible things that we faced. Eventually, we are going to be saved. Continue.
Khan. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded. World without end.
We are going to be a world without end. When it says, for God so loved the world, that's talking about us. Aren't we suffering? Aren't we suffering at the hands of our oppressors? Shouldn't we be saved? What you about to look up? Could you look up? You know what I'm looking for. No, not that one. The one in Luke, saved from all the hand that hate us. 71. Sir, the water. Luke 1:71. Because that's what we need. I need the cops to stop getting behind me and reading my tail light and then driving past and leaning up to see what's in my car. I need them to stop doing that. There's nothing but Bibles and books in my car. There's nothing that the oppressor is doing that's helping out with the progression of crime being reduced. They're actually creating crime because they're soft on crime. Right. They are the criminals. But let's go ahead and read this, and this will probably be the last verse.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 71, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us.
From the hand of all that hate us. That we should be saved from our enemies. The Mexicans are going to be saved from their enemies. The Native Americans are going to be saved from their enemies. Blacks, we are going to be saved from our enemies. West Indians are going to be saved from their enemies. And it literally tells you that they are our enemies and they hate us.
Right.
There is not enough motivation in the world. It's not just money. They're not just doing this for money. Because there's a lot of jobs that you could do for a $50,000 signing bonus. You could strap on some combat boots and go over to Iraq and worry about explosive ordinances. They're not doing that. They said, you know what? The people that we stole the country from, that's my target. I don't care if they're a U.S. citizen. If they look like they're a Mexican, they own it. And we read Isaiah 45:17 that calls us the world without end. I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. It says there are many different, or Salaki, I'm saying there are many different worlds. So we need to realize that our world is the one that's in Zephaniah 2:1. We need to gather ourselves together. O nation not desired. And with that being said, that is my time. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah, Yahweh Shemar Atham Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Class over.